interested in changing the trajectory? Or do you just okay? Because she doesn't. So what I realized with people who don't have anything, birthdays, Christmas, that's all they have in their life. That's all they have. That's all. My baby birthday, my baby birthday. But that's because you know better.
Radio check.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Today is our Win in Real Estate Wire Mentorship class of the day. All right. So, thank everybody for coming in here. My name is Ian Jensen. I'm with the
That's
crew down
it's a
here in Southern
mentality.
California at EXP Liberty. And we are ready to go to teach you a
It's
class
a
about
mindset. It's a
how to formulate your
mentality.
business and
These
how to
people go
structure
buy
a
all this
business
stuff for
plan.
Christmas, and
All
in
right, everybody. So
January
what we're
the
going to
lights
do
are
is
off.
after we're all done here, I'll be putting a link at the end of the production where you can
But
get
that's because you
into
weren't
our
raised like
Facebook
that.
group
These people
and
were
you will have
raised like that.
access to a PDF that
My
has
father's
a
60
template
something
that you
years
could
old
use to
begging
formulate
money.
your own business plan. But as we're getting started, I'm going to go over the wave tops to show you what needs to be done and how you can formulate it so that way you are
A
thinking
lifestyle.
conceptually. So when you are developing your business, that you are not leaving any kind of key details behind the scenes. So I want to thank everybody for coming in here. We are popping up here. Looks like we got 8 or 9 people already here. So I want to thank y'all. And someone is sealing over the video. What does that mean?
I don't know.
I got a comment. Somebody's sealing over. Charlie, thank you.
It's
Is
people
that a
how they
typo?
live.
Sealing
I'm
over the
grateful.
video? I don't
Like
know
I
what that
said,
means.
I'm grateful and I don't take it for granted. I
Explain
was telling
yourself. Okay, gotcha. Speaking over the video. Okay, can you hear me now? All right, cool. All right, we're going to run it. So if anybody else sees any problems that are popping up, or if I sound weird or you got questions, put them in the chat and I'll see what I can do to address them right away. But without further ado, we are going to kick right into the content and give you what you came here for. All right. Nobody's got time to stick around. So just sit around. All right, let's kick it. Can we start the presentation, please? All right, everybody, I am being assisted by the one and the only, the fantastic Anthony Perez. He is our fantastic our media mastermind. So we're here to help me out. So I want to give him a shout out. He's not on the screen, unfortunately. He does all the work behind the scenes, right? All right, so everybody, here is our Facebook group. We do have a copy of our PDF that has our free business plan template in there. So you go in there, join the group, scroll over to where it says documents or attachments, and it'll be in there. Okay. We have a couple other resources that we want to make sure you guys have. All right. So we are going to be kicking it off next. All right. So one thing too, and if you stick around too, I'm going to give you. I don't know if you were here last time, but I'll go over a little bit of a little hack I use for my marketing using ChatGPT so that you guys can get all your stuff set up. All right. So that's a little freebie, but stick around. Okay. And if I forget, somebody put it in the chat and we'll make it happen. All right. Can we please go to the next slide? All right, everybody. Thank you once again for coming in here. So this is the business plan. Okay, business plan. Are you going to ever get a loan or show this to a bank? No, nobody cares. But the thing is that it sounds crude and all that, but this is incredibly important for you to do this exercise. Hello? Who's there? Somebody off mic? All right. All right, everybody. So what I'm saying here is that you need to make sure that you are staying on top of this for your business plan. This is for you and you alone. You need to go through these processes to go through and figure out what your business is going to provide to the marketplace. All right. So this is the important thing that you need to do. This business plan template makes you go through the steps necessary for you to comprehensively understand how your business is going to get out there. You need to get out there no matter what, but you need to be able to understand different aspects of the business that will be affecting you in the big picture. Okay. So everybody on the screen, Please look, you can see Tony on the left, and our other partner and educator is Bruno on the right, and I'm that gentleman in the middle, in case you didn't see. All right, so we are the Wire Mentors, the Win in Real Estate Mentors. All right, and we want to make sure that we are here to give everybody as much opportunity to learn from the skills that we have put together that we have used in our business. All right, so a little bit who we are. We are a group of people that have done over $1 billion in real estate sales throughout the last time that we've been around. And I want to make sure that you guys are understanding that what we are putting together is effective and will be available to you if you guys pay attention. Okay, so we're going to keep on moving along. Next slide, please. All right, so here are the components of the business plan. All right, so it's very important for you guys to look at all this. And like I said, this is noted in our Facebook group. So if you didn't see that before, we'll have it again at the end of the class, and you can get in our real estate group and you can be a part of us. There's a lot of great details we put in there, and not to mention a plethora of referrals, okay? So you're gonna have the executive summary, your mission statement, your vision statement, your pitch deck, all right, market conditions, market analysis, and everything else you see on the screen. This goes through our step-by-step process of showing you what you will need to have in your business plan to make sure you have a comprehensive understanding of your place in the marketplace. All right, next slide.
Look at that handsome fellow right there.
Stop. No. Hey, Bruno, everybody. Bruno, introduce yourself real quick to the crowd so that way you understand. Everyone knows who you are and what you do, and where they can find you on the internets.
Absolutely, man. Hey, I just want to say good morning, everybody. I appreciate everyone tapping in, man. Look, the biggest thing is this. All the stuff that we're going to be telling you guys, man, like here, take it and then apply it. That is the biggest takeaway that
All right. Can you put the presentation back up on the screen, please? And we will kick it. All right, everybody, executive summary. Who's the executive? You are. All right, and this is what you need to have an understanding of as we're moving through this, okay? The executive summary is something that summarizes what you do in your business, okay? So it's a group of proposals and groups related reports that can be rapidly acquainted with a large body of material. Okay, so what that means, how are you being described in the market? How do you describe your business? How do you, as the executive, give your 10-second pitch about what you do to somebody who you've just barely met? All right. So the way I think about this is if you're ever like at a meeting, right? And if you're around a bunch of other business people, you understand they got short attention spans for the most time, right? So you got to make it quick and snappy and valuable, right? So this is your opportunity to explain in as few words as possible what your business does and the value that you bring to the marketplace. Okay, it's a quick overview. The executive summary can be lengthy if you want to, but like I said, this is all for you. This business plan is all for you, but please don't just read it and then kind of do a mental thing in the back of your mind about it. Go through the process that we are showing you. Take the 20 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, and write out all the different pieces of this puzzle so that way you can like manifest, for lack of a better word, what your business is going to be and how you as the business owner are going to add some sort of value that doesn't already exist in the marketplace. Because if you are not bringing some sort of value to the marketplace outside of what everybody else is, you're going to get ran over. All right. Because you got no place. You got no place in there if you're just like everybody else. You need to find a way that you are a little bit different than somebody else. Otherwise, you don't even have a chance because you're not even understanding what value you bring to the marketplace. All right. So make sure you are going through these steps. I can't say that enough. Please do not just read it and then, go on about your day. All right. So what is your unique selling proposition, right? What is making your product, your service, if you're a real estate agent like the rest of us, what is your unique opportunity or, personality trait or, negotiation skills that you are bringing to the market to be able to provide value to people that you meet. Okay. And then what are the goals and objectives in the long term that your business is going to provide and what your business is going to grow to? That may change, as you go. You could start at one thing and then eventually turn into another thing, but you want to make sure that you are at least projecting out some sort of goal so that way you are moving towards a target. Because if you are not moving towards a target, you're going to get lost and you're going to waste time, right? The shortest distance between 2 points is a straight line, right? And if you know that one day you just want to make money or one day you want to help people, you need to put a target on the wall and then actively move in that direction. It can change, but you will have to start moving and you have to be in alignment with what works best for you and your company and your vision, because your unique skill is what will make all the difference. So, me trying to act like Tony or me trying to act like Bruno is not going to work. Eventually I can learn something. You can definitely learn a lot from modeling it with somebody, but you have to find your own space in the marketplace and you need to leverage your own unique personal skills and attributes. Otherwise, you're just going to come off as inauthentic. All right, next slide. All right. So proposed names. All right. So don't get too wrapped up in this. A proposed name. Some people will spend 2 days trying to work on a logo or a business name. Like, don't get too wrapped up in it. Pick something, especially if you're just going to like LegalZoom, setting up some sort of legal entity. Make something that works. Make something that's easy. Make something that's actually, if you can, be. We got a hot mic. Make something that's towards the top of, if you can pick something that's alphabetical, it helps, you know what I mean? Because if you're ever applying for something, you are at the top of the list, right? If you're talking about zebras or your business is about zebras, you are going to be at the bottom of the alphabetical list, just so you know. All right, so make a couple different options that you have available to you, so that way when you go to any of these entities that can create the business for you, you don't have to go back and try again, right? So if you have a company that's called Elm Street Agency, and that's already taken, have another one in the backup position, so that way you're not wasting extra time and you can still continue to go forward. Because sometimes when you are reapplying for these situations or talking to the Secretary of State, depending on how you want to do this, to set up your legal entity, it can have more expenses tied to it. Next slide, please.
Right. Yeah, can I add something real quick to that, man? And it teeters off into the point that you're going to get to about the mission statement, man. So when we're talking about the summary, guys, so the summary, right, and then the proposed name. So we want you to be able to get it to a point where anything that you're doing, it has to be supportive of the goal that you have, right? So every action, every decision that you make should be something that is supporting directly towards the end goal that you have. So the importance of you being able to, put that together at the beginning, right, is so that one, when you're talking to other people to kind of sell what it is that you got going on, right, you can get your point across in the shortest period of time possible, right? And then that flows into the name. Having something together and something that you're putting that is easy, it's catchy, and it flows well. So you're not really kind of, sometimes it's people will go, again, remember, guys, humans are lazy, right? We are lazy just by default, right? It takes energy and it takes, all the stuff to get us to go away from our natural habitat of just being lazy humans, right? So whenever it's something is easy, it rolls off the tongue and it's catchy, that's what's going to ultimately make it stick, right? So the takeaway that we really want you guys to have, right, for the summary is ensuring that you're able to kind of compile everything together in one pretty little, one pretty little box that you can put a little bow on. Because if you don't have time to get to the other part, at least the takeaway is there right from the beginning. And then for you, it's important so that you can get it to the point to where you can use that as a reminder for you to go back to take a look at the stuff that you're putting together to say, you know what, I'm about to make a decision. Will this contribute to the actual end goal that I have? And if you haven't written it out, can you, or I guess, and you can drop it in the chat, right? So it's one of those things where I'll tell you, can you effectively hit a target if you have not identified the target? Yes or no? Just drop it in the chat. I know some of you guys are on the phone real quick, just just so we can kind of get some engagement, so you guys are sticking with us. But can you effectively hit a target if you have not identified it, right? And that's the thing that we want you to really, take time on building that and putting that together, because that's what's ultimately going to make it stick. And again, only because we're in real estate doesn't mean that our business doesn't require the same amount of due diligence as a Fortune 500 company. So if you want to be at that scale and reach that level of production, then it's going to require for the preparation to be just as big. And then it's don't try to hit don't try to hit something big as you're getting close to it. Plan to hit something big before, so then that way, as you're rolling along, you're not having to play catch up, right? Back over to you, Ian, so we can talk about this mission statement, man.
All right. Okay, everybody, we back on the full screen. Beautiful. All right, mission statement and vision statement are two things that you're going to see over and over and over again, or people that are going to ask you whenever you're having a conversation about what your business is. And this goes back to the executive summary too, about what kind of space you're going to provide in the marketplace, what sort of space you are going to occupy and provide value to. All right, so what we're going to go through is a mission statement is what you do. Vision statement is why you do it. What and why. Always remember those two, because people get these screwed up all the damn time, right? So mission statement is what your core purpose is. What sort of business you're getting into. Why are you doing it? How, not why you're doing it. Like, how are you going to go through all these different pieces of information? What is your purpose, and what sort of values are you bringing to this market? This goes back to what I'm talking about before, with that kind of ties into the summary, is that this is your unique value added proposition that you are generating into the marketplace. Yeah, ultimately speaking, you're in there to make money, all right? But all the way into this thing, you are doing it because you feel that you have some sort of extra secret sauce that you can provide to the marketplace that can help people out and that will service the community better than what is already pre-existing. Because that is something you always need to remember. This is the business world is a tough environment. It's not there to be fair. The people that are productive and the people that provide value are the people that succeed. So you need to figure out how you are going to do that better than your competition. And we'll get into that a little bit more when it comes to doing your market analysis. But you need to understand what your unique approach is and how you are going to bring value to your clients. So that way, not only can you earn clients, you can service clients and then get referral clients in the future. And that's the biggest thing we got to focus on. All right. And then we'll go into that with our vision statement, please. All right. So vision statement, everybody take a look at that. Look at that good looking crew. Everybody all dressed up, looking great. All right. So this is our bigger team. All right. We have, it's a great thing to have such great people along with us. And that is something that you will realize. You cannot do something great alone. All right. So everybody out there, who has only one employee in their company and it looks a lot like yourself? Yeah, put a 1 in the chat if you are the only person in your company. All right, everybody, come on. We need some participation here. Put a 1 in the chat if you are the only person in your company.
And we're talking about what you guys are doing it all, right? So you are your own social media person.
Yeah, you are the social
media.
Yeah,
you are the salesperson, customer service, the secretary, the whole 9.
Yeah, you do the marketing, you do everything. All right. So yeah, we got at least 1 of you, and the rest of you are liars, right? So this is the thing I need to show you, is that you need to provide this solution for the future, because you cannot do anything great alone. And the sooner you realize that this is the truth in this world, the better. All right. We cannot do anything great by ourselves. If Tony only opened this company by himself, he'd still be slinging real estate and then never seeing his kids, right? If Bruno only did his business himself, we wouldn't have been able to create what we have here. By being able to come together, you can do more with people, right? Many hands make light work, right? And that's not light. I just learned this too. That's not light like this damn thing. That's light as in something is not heavy, right? Many hands make light. I hope I didn't break your thing. Make light work. All right. So the more people you can bring into your environment, the better you are. And the vision that you're going to bring is what will make people work within your company. Because ultimately speaking, people are out for themselves. 100%, I would say 99.9% of the time, people are looking out for themselves. And you, as the business owner, need to be able to create a vision that will make people feel good about what they do, right? Because everybody wants to have something that where they can work hard and come home a little bit tired, right? It's something that we all like get value from. But you need to build some sort of emotional or productive element to your business to make people not only want to come to your company, but work hard for your company. And that is your job as the leader of your company, to be able to generate that sort of vibe within your community, within your place, to make sure that your business can grow effectively. And this has everything to do with your vision, why you are doing what you're doing. Right? You got into real estate because you felt that you could service people better, or you wanted to help people invest, or you wanted to create the lives of people, or create better lives for the people within your community. You need to have some sort of anchor so that way you can constantly revisit that whenever you're not feeling too well about the whole situation, and then also spread that information to your community to make sure that everybody can grow and work towards a common goal that they believe in and they feel good about. All right. So yeah, is it a little bit psychological? Yeah, of course it is. But everybody needs to have a reason why they need to do something that is not in their best interest, right? Do something for others, right? And that's what we're trying to explain here. You need to make that a part of your business, so that way, whenever you're feeling the weight of the world, you are coming back to this thing to make sure that you are growing effectively, all right? And you're going in alignment with the reason that you started this business to begin with. All right. Next slide. All right, pitch deck. Okay, so this is something that not everybody has to do right away, but you really should think about it, because also, like I said, these exercises help you grow and help you identify the weaknesses that you may not have thought about that exist within your business. And ultimately speaking, right, I don't know if everybody heard this phrase here, like the miracle that you're searching for is in the work that you're avoiding. All right. So if you hate doing these kind of things, then get used to them. You never know what you might learn, or how you may grow when it comes to that. Okay. So in your pitch deck, you want to create, this is basically some sort of presentation that you want to this is like, how do you want to say it? Like a school project in a way, right? Make a presentation of who you are, what you do, what problems do you solve, what's your biggest accomplishment, and why people should use your product. If you can't identify a way why somebody you should use your product, you need to re-identify what your place in this business is, because you might be having some struggling for a little bit of time. And nobody likes being on the struggle bus. All right. It's not a good time. Right. So you want to make sure that you are moving through these circumstances and thinking about this comprehensively, so that way you are making the most out of every step you take, and you're not being lost in the sauce, right? Because if you're trying to go from point A to point B and you're doing squiggles along the way, you're going to waste time, money, energy, and that may make you miss the bus when it comes to that opportunity that you want so badly. All right. Next slide. Make a pitch deck so that way you can understand who you are. And with like the AI these days, it's pretty damn easy. All right. So getting into the nitty gritty. All right, so everybody who is here with me in the chat, put the city that you represent the most, right? Or the city you do the most business in, or the area that you're trying to grow the most in. So that way I kind of understand where everybody is coming from. All right, thank you. Bruno, yep, shout out to Temecula, T-Mec. All right, who else? Miami, beautiful. Love Miami. Don't know much about it, but the places I go, it seems to be pretty nice. All right, Atlanta, beautiful. Another great city. Fairfield, no way. All right, cool. New England, right? Yeah, love New England. From Vermont, everybody. Detroit. All right, so we're getting all over the place here. All right, so we got the south, we got the southeast, we got the northeast. We're getting the north central. We got Southern California, beautiful. Okay, so this is a great example, right? So we got different areas, different kind of economic situations, different demographics. So you need to make sure that you are looking at your area specifically. And to be honest, man, I love AI for this particular situation, right? All right, so, all right, everybody, let me see who's here. Put a 1 in the chat if you want to hear my super awesome, really easy way of getting marketing content for directly local to your area. All right, so how many people we got here? I want to see at least 80% of the ones in the chat. How many people we got, Perez? All right, so how many we got? Boom, keep them coming. All right, I want to see those ones. All right, so we got 40. All right, I want to see at least 15 ones in the chat if you want this thing. It is so easy, and this thing will give you content for a year. All right, so for any of you guys who need it, this is just an easy day. ChatGPT, get some content and then hit record on your Instagram and then make it go. All right, so this is what you do. All right, I'm gonna trust that everybody did it. All right, so you open up ChatGPT and you put in make a buyer profile for a real estate client in my area. All right, so it's going to kick out demographics of it, age, economic level, yada yada yada, right? It'll create some sort of like common buyer profile. Okay, so put buyer profile in the chat. So make sure that everyone can read back on this thing. Oh, hold on. Somebody wants me. All right, so there we go. All right, so after buyer profile and you have that created, you prompt ChatGPT to create a list of problems or create 10 different problems that this buyer will experience when they try to purchase my product. All right, and then you will have 10 problems that person will will experience throughout the process of purchasing that product. So then what you do is you create, say you prompt it with give me 200 or give me 10, whatever, give me 10 or whatever number you need, give me X number of prompts or give me X number of criteria or solutions that I can provide for my social media that addresses all these different problems. All right. So for example, if you want, I can make a video of it later, but you can say like, I live in Oceanside, California. I'll do it for myself, right? I live in Oceanside, California. My core demographic is active duty military. What are some problems they experience with purchasing real estate? Qualifying for income, credit problems. What are they have to move frequently, all right? So then I ask for solutions about all those different problems that they experience, and then I talk about those solutions on my social media. Boom. All right, so right there, you have a marketing situation and you have an understanding of your market conditions all in the same situation. And remember, as you are approaching your social media, as you are creating content or as you are talking to your clients, focus on providing value. Okay? Put value in the chat for the love of God. Please put value in the chat so I can understand that you understand what's going on. No, it's not recorded, but hit me up later. We can figure something out. I'll help you out. All right. It is live right now, right?
Yeah, so it's going to be posted through YouTube.
You'll be able to tap into it later on YouTube if you go back.
Yeah, we're going to make sure that we have access to it. All right, so but like I said, you need to provide value to your customers. Otherwise, you're no good to anybody. That's the reason why they come to you, because they can't do what you're asking them to do, right? So you need to focus on value, and then value is usually a correlation of solutions to the problems that they have, right? Like I don't know how to, how to change something sophisticated in an engine. I don't know. Maybe I could. I don't know, but I go to a mechanic for their expertise, and that provides value because I know that for sure. I know that my car is not getting jacked up. I'm giving it to somebody who can provide the solution, and that solution gives me value and assurance, and that assurance has value, right? And that's the thing you need to focus on. So you need to look at your area and find out what your core customer needs and how that core customer can have their problems solved by your service in their life. Okay. So big picture, look at your local market conditions. Like I said, in your area, though, ChatGPT can be a big help because it tells you kind of what a good demographic is, and you can tell them what experiences they are going through. So that way you can provide solutions. Okay. And also too, you want to look at things like supply and demand. That's a really big one too. And that changes a lot per area, right? So if your area is going through some sort of economic situation, like a factory closed, right? You need to understand what's going on there. What problems are people experiencing with that? How is that affecting you, right? So if a factory closed, probably people need to find new jobs. So they might be either selling their house and moving away, or they'll be selling their house because things are tight. You know, how can you provide solutions? If that's going on, what is your best mode to provide value, which is a speedy and profitable transaction, right? So variety of different solutions that we could have this. See a need, fill a need. That's right, Bruno. There we go. All right. So, and then you want to understand how all these different things can kind of come together to, once again, provide value to your customers. Next slide. All right, where are we at on time? 27 minutes. Beautiful. Everybody, thank you for coming in here. We're going to keep on kicking it, and then we will get you all the questions you need. If you guys have questions, here, just save them to the end and we'll address them, but keep notes and then we'll keep on riding, okay? All right, market analysis. This one's really, really important, all right? And the most things that you're gonna get is by getting in front of people. All right, so you could have all the data, all the empirical stuff you want, but nothing really gets your creative juices going than by getting in front of people. All right, industry research, customer analysis, competitor assessment, growth opportunities. Get in front of people, right? There's a reason some of those old school tactics still work, right? You can be this is great to be in virtual mode right here. Like, it would be better if I was able to talk to you guys as a group of people. But the whole reason why Zoom is effective, right, is because you get to see my face, you get to hear my voice, you get to see me move and make my goofy hand gestures, right? We are human beings. So you need to make sure that this market analysis that you're doing isn't 100% computer-based, right? It's not data-based. You need to be in front of people so you can see the emotions on their face, because as you are growing as a business owner, you will start to be able to understand people and read people a little bit better. All right, like Bruno said, you see a need, you fill a need, right? If you hear somebody talking about the problems they're having with making their mortgage payment, and you see that that's a major piece of stress, or they can't put food on the table because they got to keep the roof over their head, you're able to witness how they're going through that problem, so that way you can address the most important problem that they're going through. You cannot beat a face-to-face meeting, and you can do that at the same time you're growing your clientele and getting market research. All right, this sounds like a roundabout way, but it's very, very effective about understanding your customer and the market as a whole. All right, so but industry research, and then also too, if you're in a particular area, if you're like all y'all are in the real estate business here, make sure you are connecting with a proper title, right? We have title companies in California where they contract and they handle all the recording and of documentation. Make sure you are getting in touch with them, because they have a very, very rich resource of knowledge that they can provide to you, especially when it comes to market data. All right, there is data. I'm not gonna hate on data completely. Market data is very important, but get the data through the means of talking to another person, because they can give you the wisdom that they have received by reviewing that data. Very, very important. All right, and then also too, as you are meeting new people, as you are talking around, and you will be seeing growth opportunities. All right, growth opportunities is very, very important, but I can't stress this enough. Do not hyper rely on the technology-based interaction, right? So if you do your market research through your reels on Instagram, you got to realize that this is all algorithmically set up, right? They give you what you respond to. So you have a false sense of reality because you are being fed what they want, they think you want to see, right? It's a trough that you're being fed that you created with an algorithm of your responses within the software development. So you have to get out there and talk to different people, talk to different types of people, get in different rooms, different environments. I don't know, like your church, your sports teams, that kind of thing. Like get involved with people so you can understand what's going on, and then you can develop your need or your skill set about your ability to provide value in that marketplace. Okay, next slide. Sorry, hold on. We got a question. I'd love to see a daily routine of any agent who makes $1 million a year selling homes, average 500K. Well, hey, we got a couple of them right here. All right, so we have a daily routine that we will provide to you in another class. All right, but long story short, it's get rid of the blank space on your calendar, right? If you're not out there talking, fill it up with people. You know, the money, you won't always make the money directly, right? You will spend time managing your pipeline, but if you're not farming your community to get new business, then it will go dry. And that is the biggest pain in the ass with any real estate agent will tell you, is when their pipeline goes dry, because they do a bunch of work, get some business, get stressed out managing that business, and then it all falls off once they get paid. All right, so, but like we will cover that, on another class and give you an average daily routine, but stay busy, talk to as many people as you can. This is a people business, without a doubt. All right, so your competitive advantage. What makes you better than your competitors, right? This is very, very simple, right? How can you provide value that is in excess of your competition? Value, 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 value. Even if your value is like your ears. You know, a lot of agents really get too wrapped up in running their mouth more than they talk, right? More than they listen, right? The old thing your grandparents used to tell you, you got 2 ears and 1 mouth. Listen to your people, all right? Listen to what their problems are. That is one of the biggest things that you could have as a competitive advantage. That and answering your gosh dang phone. But that's another story, right? So you stay on top of your communication and stay on top of your ability to read and solve problems for people and make them feel heard and make them feel like they are getting value and feel safe with your guidance. All right, this sounds really wishy-washy, but as a competitor, you will not believe how many people get way too selfish in the real estate industry. So do everything you can to take care of your people and have a good heart, but then be an absolute monster in the back end, and you will not fail, right? You just have to find ways and be aggressive with helping people that are in your community and obviously solving their problems. All right, next slide.
But guys, real quick. So when it comes to that part right there, Ian, if I can add something real quick.
Yeah,
So, hey, look, if you guys grabbed the rock and you threw it across, right, anywhere, chances are the rock is going to land on a real estate agent, just by the nature of how many people have their licenses and everything else. It's just the way that it is, right? But now, what can you do for you to be able to stand out amongst a pool of all these people that have, that have their licenses? And I'll tell you, look, start with your sphere of influence to figure out what the problem is. So Ian gave you a tip on how do you leverage AI for you to be able to kind of come up with some problems for you to solve. Another tip I'm going to give you guys is this: tap into your sphere today, right now, into your social media, and then ask them. And then you can ask the people that you already know, right? So people that are your followers, your friends, people who know, like, and trust you. Ask them about their poor experiences with real estate professionals. And then ask them to say, hey, from your bad experience, what made your experience bad? What do you not like about real estate agents? What did you experience that was poor? And then now what you're doing, one, is you are taking other people's experiences to develop something for yourself, right? Because now you can incorporate those problems that you know firsthand from people that you know firsthand that are telling you that these are the issues. So now you can help to make yourself stand out by addressing those problems, right? And now you are incorporating that into your plan as you're putting it together, but you're not having to come up with it on your own. So now it's proven, because you know that that's an actual problem. But then it's it gives you the ability for you to re-engage with the people in your sphere, right? So again, anything that you're doing, any time and effort that you spend in any one specific thing, you should be trying to say, okay, if I do this one thing, how can I maximize that for me to hit multiple avenues of approach, right? So that gives you content for you to be able to engage with your people to go back and forth on. But then now that gives you something for you to kind of build your stuff together and kind of enhance your plan, because now you know that you can put out fires that actually exist. It's super easy for us as professionals to kind of get caught up in the hustle and the bustle, that a lot of times we forget what the struggles are that the consumers are experiencing. So if you stay in touch with the consumers, you can take their pain points and make those the competitive edge that you need to help stand out. Right. So if that makes sense, guys, drop a one real quick, and then we can start rolling into sustainability and recruitment, man. Go for it, Ian.
Bam. All right, everybody, keep it up. I appreciate everybody for coming here. I hope we're giving you all the secret sauce that you've been needing so badly. All right, so sustainability and recruitment. Okay, so this is something that is ridiculously important, although a lot of people think it's farther away than it actually is, right? So this is something I stole from Grant's content, is people dramatically overestimate what they can do in a year and significantly underestimate what they can do in 10. All right, so you need to put together an idea. Is once you find something that works, find out a way to systematically implement that into your business, right? You will not rise to the occasion. You will fall to the level of sophistication of your systems, all right? You need to develop these systems within your business. Otherwise, you will be just chasing your tail back and forth all the damn time. It is a miserable experience to all of a sudden have a great thing going, and then you fall off the wagon for a little bit, or you stop being sticking to your schedule, and then boom, you're right back into where you were when you just got started. Right? It is a miserable experience. Do not get to that place where you are not having a sophisticated level of systemizing your particular business. And this isn't very important, and it doesn't have to be too crazy at the beginning, right? So say you have a client, and then you talk to them, and you figure out, oh, this worked, this didn't work. So then you take what did work, and then you find ways of cutting out what did not work, and then you use that for the next client, right? I'm not talking that you need some sort of dramatic, Microsoft engineer to be able to get your business on track. You just need to make sure that you're tracking what works, what doesn't work, and then you utilize that going forward. So that way you could have a sustainable idea about how your business is going to run. And then by developing that for you and your business, this is also something that you can utilize to provide value when you want to grow your team, especially as an EXP brokerage right here. You don't need to be a broker like Bruno or Tony or any of these other people to be able to grow a team. You can do that within EXP if you provide value to other agents. If you provide value to other agents and they can see that you're successful and you're a good teacher and you can develop sophisticated systems or effective systems, then they're going to want to be drawn to the success that you provide and you have discovered. So and this thing doesn't just happen in one big swoop. You don't like get really huge and then all of a sudden you go backwards and then you start developing your systems. The better you can work on it and the better you can fine tune them as you are growing will be a more and more beneficial way of just running your business, so that way you're not pulling your hair out. And two, you can provide value to other people to help them grow their business, which will in turn give you more income and then more clientele and then more impact within your community, right? So this is very important to think about as you're going through this. Like, do it in the moment. If you see a problem, fix a problem. So that way you don't have to get, what's the word? Kill the monster when it's small. All right. Okay. In case you don't notice, I love little sayings.
That's a good one.
Yeah. I love sayings, right? So it's it's my way of kind of remembering the wisdom of other people. Okay. So take care of problems when they're little and develop a system so that way you avoid them. And then that way you can continue to grow and you're not making the same mistakes, right? Because that is a pain in the ass for me personally. I hate that. Whenever I do something I should have known better and I didn't act, right? All right, anyway, next slide. Let's go. And then retention. Sorry, hold on. Stand by. See my picture? Yeah, that's right. Retention. Good employees are hard to find. I have seen in this business dozens, in our business, our team, I have seen dozens of agents come and go because they don't seem to either, be in alignment with who we are or what we do, or they want to do their own thing more than they want to work on a team, or they want to be in the spotlight, or whatever the system may be, or they're just not the right fit, not the right personality. Maybe they're a person that just brings nothing good whenever they show up. Like, you got to make sure that you are retaining the people you want more of, right? If you have somebody in your business that is a taker or is a subtractor, then you need to figure out a way of getting rid of them as effectively as possible, or educating them or training them or mentoring them. Don't just throw people away, right? Because I've been in situations where people were trying to throw me away, and then I got brought into like this company, and I met with people that helped me grow and develop into a person that I much prefer being, right? So, but retaining people is a massive, massive force multiplier, because constantly training and running through employees is a costly endeavor, right? And it can take you a lot of your time as one of the business owner, because most people, unless you really, really trust them, will be doing all the hiring and firing within their own business. All right. So the longer you have to take interview, you could spend a whole day interviewing people, right? What could you have done if you had your nose to the grinder in your CRM during that one day? And then,
Boom.
not to
That
mention
part
just
right there.
the value exchange that you have with people is massive. All right. So I can beat this one to death all day, but like creating an environment that has a beneficial development of your employees, and then also a means of retaining quality employees, because if they're good, you better watch out, because they might leave, and they probably will. And because if you develop somebody and you have a really good development scenario, then somebody's going to come as what they call headhunters, right? They're going to pop up and all of a sudden try to, lasso Johnny the Ace out of your team and bring him over to their stable. All right. So
Ian, what do you do, right? So like what's something that you do to help with keeping people in your network or your group? Like, what are some things that Ian does, right, to kind of keep people so that they don't leave a team for
Okay,
you?
so when it comes to retaining people within your own team, all right, so right now I have a small team, right? And what's going on, what I've done through though, is I've figured out ways of analyzing different people's personalities to see if they have what it takes to function within our particular business. All right, so with our particular business, we are a small and mighty team. Like, ask Bruno, he knows it. Like, the people that are like the winners and the heavy hitters within our team, they took a while to get them, right? So if you start finding people that have personality traits that are not in alignment with what you're going through or what that you want to be able to provide for your people, like, get rid of them or find a way of educating them. Because like just recently we had a lady on my team. She looked professional, she showed up, she had good things, but she was really kind of toxic when it came to interpersonal relationships within the brokerage. Talking behind people's backs, this kind of thing, or that and the other. I'm not going to get too much into it because I don't really like to gossip, but I could tell that the impact that she was having, it would have a greater negative impact if she stayed with the company. Because mold spreads, right? So we figured out a way where we gave her as much opportunity as we could, but ultimately speaking, she decided that this company was not the best fit for them. All right. And you're going to have to do that as a person to like, and this is also very much unique. Like this person could have easily been on Bruno's team, and then maybe that person could have done better, right? This is unique to your situation. And as a business owner within the real estate business, right? We're all contractors, right? You got to make sure that the people you are working with are in alignment with the way you teach and the way you run your business. Otherwise, you're just building conflict into it. Oh, that's getting into the camera. All right. So back to the slides, please. So like I
I'll
said,
tell you, man. So for the people that for if you have people in your teams or anything like that, drop a two just so we know we can kind of gauge the audience here to see if the value that we're providing is actually going to be hitting and resonating with the people that are on the call, right? But it's one of those where right in the beginning when Ian was talking about the vision, mission statement, and everything else, right along with the summary. Get people that align with the values and the things that you have, right? So if they can buy off into your vision, then those are going to be people that are likely to be able to mesh with what it is that you got going on, right? For the people that feel as if like, oh man, you know what, I can't have people to recruit, or I'm not coming across that problem right now because I don't have other people for me to recruit. So then it goes back to the thing that Ian was mentioning about how is it that you can leverage, right, different people in different capacities so you can really work and focus on your highest and best, right? So, a tip that we'll throw out there is this, you know what I mean? So, check out virtual assistants, right? So, virtual assistants, there are virtual assistants that you're paying $4 or $5 an hour that they can do something that one, they're probably better at than you are, right? And then two, it's something that they can work on simultaneous to you doing the income producing tasks. Okay. So if you're able to work on if you're able to type on the computer chat, I will tell you, drop that into the chat. Income producing chats. Your highest and best use should be focusing on the things that are going to be the lead gen that are going to be kind of funneling your guys' business, right? So, and if you follow some of the content that Claudiane talks about, and she just posted something like this recent. Claudiane was talking about, there's a difference between you working in your business and working on your business. So if you're not able to work on your business because you're so stuck working in it, right? Find people that can, carry that load for you so you can kind of focus specifically on the income producing tasks. What's the next slide that we got?
all right. And then two, make sure that when it comes to this retention piece that you're really, really careful about what's going on, because the biggest thing that we want to talk about with this retention topic is something that you will receive along the way, is the fact that working harder for somebody that will stay in your company longer is more beneficial than constantly hiring and firing people that aren't the best fit. So take your time and make sure you're in the best alignment with the people that you're bringing into your, lack of a better word, family. Okay, so here we are, back to retention strategies. We're going to kind of rip over this thing because we kind of talked about this. Performance rewards, right? They need to see that their efforts are being rewarded, right? Why else would I come to work every day, especially in real estate sales, right? If somebody is showing up every day and they're not getting business, you as the business owner, you as the person who hired them or brought them into you, if you're like you said, we're talking an agent to agent relationship of a team. If they are showing up and they're doing the things that you want them to be doing, they're making calls, they're showing up to functions, they're being present, they're asking how they could help. You have to find a way to reward them, right? So if that means you have to give some of your business to them to help them, to keep the bills alive, or them to see the vision, right? People respond to positive reinforcement, right? Positive reinforcement is the best kept secret out there, right? Believe it or not, right? Negative reinforcement, I mean, people just feel like they're getting their ass kicked every now and then when they screw up. But if you give somebody a reason to make them make an action that benefits them, people are drawn towards pleasure and avoid pain. It's just psychology, right? So you need to make sure that you are creating some sort of environment for somebody to see that, either see from a position of growth, autonomy, or the fact that they are being able to develop as a person, right? So career growth, like if they're really doing well and you want to make sure that they have, and you can tell that they want to be able to stay in this company and they want to do more than what they are currently doing, you need to show them that is available to you. And this is something we took from Grant's material too, from his business development seminar, right? You want to be able to show them like, hey, if you're here and if you want to go to here, then you need to demonstrate that you have proficiency in X, Y, and Z. So that way there's a clear understanding of how to get to where they want to go. Just like we were talking about with our executive summary. And these are things that you need to have a clear goal so that way you can see what's going on. And if they don't have that available to them, then they may be going all over the place and not be focusing on where their highest and best use of their skills are. And that's the biggest thing. So if they want to be somebody who go from a real estate agent to maybe a massive team leader, you need to be able to give them the experience of learning how to develop their skills as an agent, how to develop their skills as a leader, and then how to develop their skills as a broker level employee, right? So you want to make sure that you are developing these things within your company so that way you can continue to retain the employees and the people within your company that are extremely valuable. And this also works for whatever business you're in. For example, Bruno brought up a great topic about virtual assistants. All right, they can be a very, very valuable and useful, a force multiplier to your business. So that way you don't have to pay somebody, common minimum wage things in America to do a task that can be done virtually somewhere else, right? So it can be a very big multiplier. And typically speaking, like I said, sometimes they have more competency than you do in a particular area, and that's how they can add value to your business. All right, so work-life balance. That, like, people work so they can live, ultimately speaking, right? And that is a spectrum to every single person that comes into your environment, and you'll have to kind of see what is comfortable for them. Some people get, like I said, everybody goes towards pleasure and avoids pain. Whether you know it or not, that's you. Every decision you make in your life is relative to that particular dynamic, right? You struggle for a little while because you know it'll make things better in the future, right? So that the reason why people work is to be able to live. And you need to be able to look at this scenario to see how you are going to provide some sort of a work-life balance within your company. All right, and that's relative to what the needs of your company are, and that will also change towards the people that you bring into your environment. Right? If you need people that are maximum producers, then you need to have somebody who is maximally financially motivated. All right. So this all is very dynamic, and it depends all on your particular level of business that you're trying to develop. But you need to be able to understand that these are the action steps that need to be taken within the environment that you work with to make sure that you are taking the best steps forward as possible. Right? And engagement activities. All right. So this comes into, like I said before, the ability to create a culture within your business. All right, so this is sometimes for people that are a little bit larger companies than others, right? So you need to be able to be happy with the culture that you are a part of, right? If you go to work and you may love the work you do, but you hate everybody you work with, chances are you're not going to stay at that company. All right, like especially like we mentioned before, like in Southern California here in San Diego County, there is 20,000 real estate agents. 20,000 agents, right? So you think there's not another opportunity to go work somewhere? So make sure that you are developing a culture within your business that people are proud of, right? We are a VA specialized agency down here in Southern California, and that is one of the main reasons I came here. One, I already trust the leadership, but two, and if I didn't work anywhere else, I don't know if I would have been able to do it personally speaking, just because I, honest to God, feel that I'm giving back to the vets and the active duty service members of my clients that I help out. I am teaching them about financial education. I'm showing them how real estate can give them a life that they may not have ever thought was available. And not to mention that I'm teaching the skills that they can provide to their family in the future, right? So I love that aspect about my job. That makes me feel good. The fact that I get to have a knowledge sector that I've learned enough about that I can provide to other people, right? And that's why I've stayed with this company, and that's why I've spent times getting like hours developing with Bruno and Tony, like hours developing this content that we created, developing the business that we started up, so that way we could have this opportunity to provide this knowledge to more people. And that's what I love about it. And you need to create something like that within your company, so that way your culture, and in case you didn't realize this, if you're the leader, you're responsible for the culture in your business. End of story. Like, the culture is your responsibility, right? And you create it, or you create either a great one or a poor one, and that's up to you. But that is what will bring people to your environment, right? This is a scenario where, like, it's an at-will employment. So they need to be there, and they need to want to be there for not only for your own production, but for their best and brightest opportunities as well. Next slide. All right, everybody, I want to thank you again for being here. we are just about out of time, but we're going to keep on going here. I got another, maybe a couple slides. What do we got, Perez? What? No, 2 slides? A couple more? All right, so financial plan. We're going to keep ripping through here and get things going here. So this is the money. All right, good old boring money. All right, so financial plan and budget. You need to have a good idea about what you're going to be looking at for expenses. All right. So this is kind of the meat and potatoes of it. We went through all the emotional junk before this, but now we need to make sure that you are understanding the real raw functioning items of the cogs and sprockets within your company, right? Revenue model. How is that money going to come in? How are you going to get paid? Are you going to get paid as a business? Are you going to get paid as a corporation? Are you going to get paid as an individual, a sole proprietor? What sort of business structure are you going to choose? What sort of budget and expenses are you going to be facing, right? As a real estate agent, we are very, very lucky, right? Where our level of expenses is relatively low for our fixed expenses, right? If you had a concrete company, like guess what? That those equipment payments and your insurance costs and all that stuff is coming every month, and you have a pretty big nut to crack. So, but as a starting real estate agent, you know, your expenses are not that large, but you want to try to look around at people that are more successful, so that way you can anticipate the type of expenses that they are going to be facing, right? So we are a decently large real estate company here, and we have at least 3 salary staff, and those are people that are paid well, right? We have a building, we have an electric bill, right? We have functions that we have to take care of. Like the nut that they have to crack at this company is big every month. So you need to make sure that you realize that like these things are in your future, but plan accordingly. Like don't just get a check and spend every dollar of it, right? You need to understand what budgets you're going to be facing. You're going to be facing taxes. You're going to be facing your car payments. Everybody needs a car as a real estate agent for the most part. You know, your technology bills, like what sort of virtual assistants or different memberships are you going to have to handle, right? What sort of brokerage fees do you deal with? All right, so you want to understand what your expenses are, and then what sales forecast. How are you expecting to do your first, second, third year? You know, what is your month to month looking like? What do you need to make every month to pay your bills? And then what sort of lines of credit do you have available to you? So that way in the future, if you do see an opportunity, you may be able to scale your business faster. All right. All right. Next slide, please. All right, everybody. I want to continue to go through this. We're wrapping things up here. Put a 1 in the chat if you are still with me, and we're going to keep pushing this along. All right. So management structure. What's up?
So man, I gotta pop out, Ian. But wait, what I wanted to drop in here is this, guys. Look, so and I know that we're limited on the time and everything else, but the thing is this, right? When it comes to the mentorship and something else, right? If you guys want to be able to connect with us, you know, to continue some of this stuff, we can. We have a whole program and everything else, a whole mentorship that we can kind of walk you guys through. But what I definitely wanted to be able to drop in the chat, Alexis, if you can, is I want to be able to drop a link, right? So this is a Facebook group that we have, and the reason why I want you guys to get in there for sure, right, is because we cannot do all this by ourselves. Okay, so we need agents that are located in all the different states. So we want to be able to send the referrals that we get to you guys that are here. Okay, so we desperately need more EXP agents in this Facebook group because, guys, hey, I'll tell you, man, Keller Williams is killing us in that group, right? So we send our referrals, but at the end of the day, we're going to send it to really agents that are able to, you know, perform and get it done for the clients and the people that we come across. So we want you guys to join the Facebook group so that as we come across these referrals and we reach out to people, we want to send it to you guys, the people that are in our network. All of you guys are part of our family, so we want to make sure that the referrals go out to you guys first. So make sure you guys tap in there. That is the go-to, right? Whenever we have, so we do classes, guys, that, you know, and we reach people, you know, in all 50 states, but we're obviously not licensed in all 50 states. So we need the people here to be able to be there to collect these referrals. So the information that we have, guys, stay tuned into the group because the content is continuous, right? Next week, whenever we come back and we hit the stuff again, you know, we have these things that at the end of the day, it's the value, right? Claudiane saw something where she said, hey, look, you guys are kind of kicking some ass out there. I want to bring you to add more value to the people in our network. And that's exactly what we're doing, is we're trying to find ways to really kind of go against the grain, because, you guys understand, right? You guys understand that in the real estate industry, man, people gatekeep. And it's like, oh, if I do well, it's a secret. I don't want to let other people know. Hell nah, man. There's plenty of business to go around for everybody. So you know what? It's each one teach one. So it's one of those where it's like, take the information and add value, man. So I definitely want to say thank you to Claudiane, and thank you guys for, what it is that you guys are doing, which is, man, you made a commitment. So many people went and said that they were going to show up, but they didn't, but you did. So I want to say thank you to you. I want to say thank you to Ian for, kicking this stuff. And Claudiane, I super appreciate you, man. And I look forward to building this thing out with every single one of you, man. And, when we have these slides about the production numbers, man, numbers are just numbers, man. But again, numbers don't lie. But two, it means that there's a system and there is something that's working. And I promise you, if you follow some of these things that we are sharing with you, man, if I do something and it works, I'm going to tell you. If Ian does something and it works, Ian is going to do it. And then the same thing with Tony, the same thing with Claudia. Guys, I'm telling you, man, if you want to go fast, do it alone. But if you want to go far, do it together, man. And I super appreciate it, man. I'm popping out. Ian, I salute you, brother.
It's magic. Try it out, brother. All right. Who's that? You got a question? All right, back to it. All right, everybody. So once again, scan that code in case it's a little bit easier to see it right now. Scan the code and get into our Facebook group. We have a massive opportunity for everybody to get some business in there no matter what. And then make sure that you are staying in touch with us, right? Because we need to make sure that we are handing off the referrals that we generate to qualified people. All right, without a doubt. But we want to keep it within the family, okay? So everybody, all right, awesome. Yeah, so we will have this available for everyone to look at up on our YouTube channel here shortly, okay? So bring me back to our management structure. Boom, 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 boom. Okay, there we go. One more, back it up. All right, management structure. Okay, guys, so this is kind of something that you probably heard about, right? President, executive vice president, department leaders, and support staff. If you're just getting your business off the ground, you are all these people. Whether you think you are or not, believe it or not, you are every position within your company. Every company has the same amount of different jobs within that company. It's all a matter of how many do you do. All right. And that's where you start to kind of separate yourself from being a more sophisticated business to being a startup, right? So then that's why startups struggle so much, is they can't figure out systems to develop and with getting their product to the market fast enough to be able to keep the lights on, all right? Because they're busy doing administrative tasks, right? They're busy calling the phone company to try to get something squared away instead of calling their clients to generate business, right? So if you're the president of your company, the only thing you should be working on is expansion. I'm sorry if you're still the person that loves, if you own a bakery company and you just love frosting the cakes, that's not your best business. You should be knocking on the doors of different restaurants everywhere to try to get your product out there, or getting your product in the hands of more and more visibility. Your sole purpose as a president is expansion. Get your business bigger. Get your face out there. Get your brand recognized. Build your business. That is the only thing that you can do as a president. But what happens here is that you get too wrapped up being a manager, doing the day-to-day operations, calling people, setting up things, checking on crap. It's not like that stuff is not the highest and best use of your time. So you need to do these things as efficiently as possible to get to the place where you can afford to hire out these different positions. All right. All right. Next slide, please. Next staff, I said. All right. So realtor team examples. Okay. This is something that we have in our own business. All right. So this is something that we are currently using right now that we have developed. When I first started here, we had none of these. All right, we got to a point where we realized that we had to add more people to this team to be able to function effectively. All right, so like a catcher cannot, win a baseball game, right? They got too much going on, right? They're hyper specialized, right? You need to make sure that you are building into these different things. And sometimes they don't have to be 100% full-time staff. You can do this part-time, like a transaction coordinator. That is not somebody on staff 100% of the time. That is somebody you hire when the need comes around. It's like a contractor, right? You talk to them, you hire them out for each different transaction that you go through, and they handle the communication and maintenance of a file. For those of you, like, how many people in the group right here have never closed one transaction? Don't be shy. This comes from a place of love. All right. For those of you who are just getting started in your business, who here has not closed a transaction yet? All right. Well, anyway, we're going to keep it going here so that way you guys can understand, or even if you're not closing a ton of transactions, right? You can make sure that you can hire out these different people after you understand the processes. There you go. Thank you. Thank you very much for, sharing with us. All right. Yeah. And so this is what happens, right? You don't realize what you need yet, but that's what we're here for. This is how we're going to build this out, right? A lot of these different people that you have within your company right here that we have on the screen, you don't have to have as a full-time person. None of these are almost, right? Maybe a marketing manager, that's it. And you don't even have to hire them at first. You can do that, right? But you'll need a transaction coordinator to help you move through the files efficiently so that way you can spend more time being face-to-face with clients and setting up and closing more deals. A CRM manager, I mean, let's face it, most of us are our own CRM manager. And to be honest, like, that's one of the first things you should hire just because it's so incredibly impactful once you kind of get to a level of leads that you are almost too much to call. Because, like, for instance, right now, I have my own CRM, and usually whenever I get somebody on the call and then we have a good call, it's 20-30 minutes. Right, so if I say it's 20 minutes, I can get 3 done an hour, 3 times 8, right? So boom, I got 24 calls in an 8-hour day. Right, granted, that's great. If I could do that all day long, I'd love to, right? But that's still only 24 calls. All right, so what happens here is you need to be able to be effective at hitting more people as effectively as possible. And that's where your CRM and your marketing come together to make sure that you're making the most out of every leverage point that you have. Okay, so but have these other people on call so that way you can be more valuable to your customers, right? You need to have a home inspector so that way when you do have somebody, you have a person that's reliable that can go to that house and make sure that your client is getting all the information about this asset that they can. So that way they are not blaming you for any problems that happen. Like, oh, I didn't know this thing had a leaky pipe. Well, BS, it's right here. I showed you and we talked about it and we got a credit from the seller, right? You want to have a couple handymen or contractors on site. So in that case, if they want to know how much it's going to cost to paint this fence, that you can have access to information. And that's really your only job as an agent, right? Is to give your client information. You show them the world and then look out for problems in the meantime. So that way you can guide them to where they want to be, right? You're not making decisions for them. You're just showing them what is potentially available. And then you are in the gunner seat mowing down all the little gremlins that are coming to try to take their money. All right. So, and you provide that by adding perspective and information, right? So you want to have another showing agent, somebody you trust on your team that's not going to steal from you in case you get, you have to go to Granny's funeral and you still have a client that needs help, right? And then also too, share that responsibility. If somebody asks you for help them out. It's a chance for you to meet somebody else. You might learn a new angle about a personality type that you've never experienced, right? A marketing manager, critically important. Marketing. Put marketing in the chat. Gosh dang it. If you think marketing is something you don't have to do, then by all means, you might as well just walk out because you have to market 100%, whether that's you talking to people or whether that's you getting some sort of channel or some sort of means to the community you're into. People cannot buy from you if they don't know who you are. I struggle with this myself. I am not perfect. I don't have a magnificent marketing channel, but you have to do this. You have to reach out to people. You have to talk to people. You have to be bold and then valuable to them, but show them how you can do that for you, because if they can't find you, they're not going to go to you. It's no different than a restaurant, right? If they can't Unless somebody, it's like some secret place, some kind of speakeasy where people are talking about it, like, chances are that's going to take a long time to build a business. So don't do it that way. Show the world who you are. All right, a coach. Everybody needs a coach. You don't have to pay for them all the time. A good broker could be a coach. A good team member could be a coach. You're somebody else in your family who has experience in this or that. Like, for instance, I'm going to give you one thing right now. My father-in-law, this is a beautiful statement. If anybody struggles, all right, put a 1 in the chat if you struggle having conversations with strangers, right? You start talking, yada, yada, yada. All of a sudden you kind of run out of things to do and you feel awkward. And then you do that. Well, I'll see you later. That kind of thing. Like, who here struggles with having conversations with people? All right, so coaches do not have to be somebody who is directly in alignment with your business. So this could be somebody who you just benefit from learning from or having somebody to talk to. All right, so what I'm trying to show you right now is like one thing that I learned from my father-in-law, he had a car detailing products company, right? And he supported his family for 40 years selling soap to detailers, for lack of a better term. And the one thing he told me that I really valued out of it is like, ask people about themselves. It is everybody's favorite topic. Ask them about themselves, and they'll tell you about the world. They'll tell you about their kids, their boat, their things that they love, their wife, their car, their clothes, whatever. People will love to talk about it. All right. All right. So anyway, we are moving along, and I want to make sure that you have every access to this. Okay. All right. So, and then escrow and title. Escrow is a great opportunity to get in front of people. So that way you understand how they can help you out and how they can manage the transaction. And a good title representative will show you where you can grow your business and what sort of market data you have to be able to grow. All right. Next slide. All right. So starting business. We are just about done here. All right, so these are the last couple of people you want to make sure that you have as you are moving about your day and creating sales. All right, so a bookkeeper, tax planner, marketer, and a lawyer. All right, bookkeeper, they count the beans to make sure that you are tracking all the different money that is coming into your business and it is being accounted for correctly. That is not an accountant. A bookkeeper just makes sure they are tracking your money effectively. A tax planner make sure that you are spending your money the right way to decrease your tax burden. All right, so make sure you know the difference. Bookkeeper, just make sure things are accurate. A tax planner tells you how you can spend your money in the future to make sure that you are moving in the right direction. All right, so that way you're not wasting money. Because if you're spending more than you have to in taxes, you're wasting money. All right, there's nothing noble in paying more taxes than you need to. So you need to have an effective tax planner. Marketer, I already talked about this. You need one, get one. Right, and if that's you, then go to ChatGPT like I talked about and type in what are some marketing strategies I can implement immediately that are free of cost. Right, and a lawyer, just in case, talk to those around you so that way in case you get in hot water, you have somebody you can talk to and somebody who you can move effectively through. So that way, if you did get in hot water, you don't get back into it. Okay, next slide. All right, proposed location, tenant improvements. All right, so this is for you one day when you get a particular, when you get big enough where you need an office. Not everybody needs an office. Sometimes you can do a virtual office, sometimes you can do a temporary office, but you want to make sure you have something that kind of shows a good place where people want to come as an inviting for them to either do business as employees or they feel comfortable as somebody who's coming into your company. All right, so you can create a nice open layout, add some nice tech to make it look like you're sophisticated, and make sure that you are helping everybody out so that way they can do their business as effectively as possible. All right, next slide. All right, and then budget. All right, here's a basic budget. All right, so get a couple computers, screen projector, a couple TVs here and there, some administrative equipment. But like I said, this is usually for a bit more of a sophisticated business who has kind of got to a certain point where they need a on-site location, right? Brick and mortar. All right, next slide. Everybody, closing statement. All right, so this is for you as your business owners. Thank you very much for coming here and listening to us have this conversation. Yeah, I know we went a little bit long, and I apologize for everybody, but I hope I was still able to give you as much content and value as possible. So I want to thank you all for being here. All right, so these are the people that are on the screen right there. Actually, that's my name is spelled wrong on that one. Just saying, it's Jensen, realtor. But we'll have that fixed in the next one, I guess. But anyway, follow our team on the screen. Making Homeowners is Bruno, the gentleman that was here with us. Tony Glenn, the guy on the right, he is our founder and the person who has helped us create this material. And myself, Ian Jensen, Jensen _realtor. Gosh dang it! All right, here I did worked all this hard and didn't get it. All right, everybody, next slide, and then I think we'll wrap it up. All right, so if this content was valuable to you, this is what I'm going to talk about today. Here we have the 2 different classes available to you so that way you can participate. One, we have our brand ambassador certification. So if you want to create your opportunity within your business, if you're a new agent or if you're an experienced agent, this doesn't matter. This gives you the opportunity of learning everything about the VA loan. We are VA loan specialized real estate agents, and that is how we created the opportunity within our company. We have sold over $1 billion worth of real estate to veterans. This is your opportunity to take advantage of the content that we created, that we teach internally to our agents to make sure that they are sufficiently trained to go out there and help the veterans that we generate into our sphere, all right, through our marketing. So if you want to be able to be a referral agent in your area so that we can get first priority to the leads that we generate. So if you're in Cleveland and we get a lead from Cleveland, then you're our person because we know that we can trust that lead with you. All right, so everybody, thank you very much for checking this out. Brand Ambassador Certification, outstanding course. If nothing else, even if you never get a lead given to you, that is a custom-made course for a VA specialized real estate agent so you can take that content and bring it to your toolbox. All right, and that way you can service the vets and active duty in your area and you can have a more sophisticated business. And if you are either an agent who has done this for 50 years or you're brand new and you just want to get started, check out our Wire Mentorship course. This is an intensive 5-day course to make sure that you have every access to what we teach our agents here locally to take them from being an agent that needs training to being a fully vetted and then productive real estate agent. Okay, so our Wire Mentorship course is a soup to nuts course, 5 days long, takes you about it's over like 3 weeks, and we give you all the information you need to be as effective as possible in your business. All right, these are custom made courses that we built from the successful tactics that we teach here at this brokerage that's taken dozens of agents from being brand new to being millionaires. All right, so everybody, take a close look at what we have here. This, once again, thank Anthony Glenn for creating this opportunity for the majority of us to come here and be able to share this content. The course is starting at $14.99, and I swear to God, you will never, ever doubt the cost of that. To be honest, it should be more expensive, but we're trying to make it as available as possible to everybody. Please, everybody, thank you very much for being here. Come back, and I think we're having the next class in 2 weeks, and we will continue this amazing content for y'all. Once again, thank you all for being here, and we will see you next time. Is it closed?